Imagine you're the laughing stock of baseball for so many years. It hurts. You come through, you pull a rabbit out of your hat and win your division for the first time in 2008, the first time you're practically out of last place in your division in the first decade of existence. Imagine that you lose the World Series to a franchise that only won their second and they've been around since 1901. That's not what we're talking about. Imagine you're a franchise who's had to go through the ringer. You had to go through a tough 162 game season and then find out you have to play a tiebreaker game to get into the wild card game to get into the playoffs. Smooth sailing indeed. But anyway, this is the story of the 2013 Tampa Bay Rays and why they are my pick 'em. You've got Jeff Diamond, you've got one man, you've got a hat, a bat, and that's definitely not all. You got the bleachers, got from spring to fall, you got a dog, a drink, and that umpire's call. What do you want? Let's play what if. Okay, okay, Cutter, do some what ifs. Okay, Cutter, do some what ifs. So the focus of the Tampa Bay Rays in this episode is practically due to the fact that we could have easily done the 2008 Rays or the 2020 Rays. But under the rules of the what if situation, the teams cannot have lost in the final. Losing in the final is one thing, not getting to the final and losing in horrible fashion is another. So that's why we're going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays of 2013. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays kind of started out because franchises left, right, and center were trying to go to Tampa Bay. It wasn't just the fact that Tampa Bay got an expansion franchise and then just, that was their first time lucky, but many cities were threatening to go to Tampa Bay. You had the major situation in the late 80s with the Chicago White Sox that their stadium was crumbling. There was a proposal that had failed, and Chicago was like, screw it, we're going to move the White Sox to Tampa Bay. They have a better stadium. They're building a roof stadium, so why don't we have it? And all that. Fortunately, though, the governor of Illinois decided to allow the taxpayer dollars to build a new stadium right across the way from Comiskey Park, called Comiskey Park 2, or was now. No, it's the Guaranteed Rate Field. So Tampa felt bad. They built this nice place called the Florida Sun Coast Dome to attract baseball and all that. So that was strike one. Strike two happened when Seattle was struggling and all that. They were looking in the early 90s to maybe move away from Seattle because the Kingdom was decrepit. Their team kind of sucked. They didn't have a winning season until 1991, which was shocking because the Rays beat them to it, going through 10 years without till they got to the winning season where Seattle had 14. But the fact is, Seattle almost moved to Tampa Bay, so, they almost had the Mariners. So strike two. And strike three on Tampa was the fact that the San Francisco Giants were close. In 93, there were rumors 92, there were rumors circulating as a cat is trying to foil me. I'm sorry, but I don't want to start over. Fact is that San Francisco was in dire straits. They were in dire straits once in 1976, almost selling the San Francisco Giants to Toronto, and Toronto having a National League team. But unfortunately, though, the mayor butted in and got new local owners. But the silver lining for Toronto was that they got an American League expansion team thanks to the persistence of Kansas City owner Ewing Kauffman, whose wife Muriel was from Toronto. But of course, San Francisco was getting more financial decline. Fortunately, though, they found a buyer by 1992, named Vince Nielmi, and Tampa Bay almost got the Giants, so the Giants were going to move to Tampa. Fortunately, though, San Fran decided one last roll of the dice to give a massive contract to Barry Bonds to make him leave Pittsburgh for San Francisco's free agent, and the rest is history. So Tampa Bay had 3 good chances to get a baseball team, but failed. Fortunately, the American League was going to expand to 14 teams. Well, we were going to move up to 30 teams. Alongside Arizona, Tampa was named a team and for the 98 season. Of course, that would be a little problematic because baseball didn't want interleague every day, so one team moved from the AL to the NL, and that was Milwaukee. Needless to say, Tampa Bay's early times were terrible. They were a terrible franchise. They had some decent players, like Fred McGriff and Jose Canseco played for them, but they just couldn't get over the hump. Let's not forget that they had some decent pitchers, and unfortunately, Tony Saunders broke his arm in a game. Like, literally. Fuck. So the Rays were the laughingstock of the AL East. They used to, all but one season from 1998 to 2007, they were in last place. But somehow, in some way, by rebuilding their team, by 2008, they became no laughingstock as they shocked everyone, winning the AL pennant over the Boston Red Sox and going to the World Series against the Phillies. They did win a game, but not the World Series. The Rays would go on to the 2020 World Series in COVID times, and COVID kind of helped. And it helped that Tampa could play their games in their home stadium and Florida with the whole COVID situation. Tampa then fell to the Dodgers in 6 games, but they did tie that series in 2 thanks to Brett Phillips's wild walk-off single that the Dodgers bobbled the ball twice. So anyway, the 2013 Rays are the focus here. As I said, any team making the finals doesn't count. You have to have fallen before the final hurdle. So let's take a look at the 2013 Rays. So it's time to check the 2013 Rays season. As Wikipedia puts it, it was the 16th season that the Rays existed. They had 90 wins in 2012, but finished 3rd in the division. So they were trying their best. So anyway, the Rays in the offseason made some moves. They picked up James Shields, Fernando Rodney, and Jose Molina's options, meaning that they kept them on the team. Evan Longoria was given a 6-year, $100 million contract extension in 2012. Practically, they gave Longoria the thing because, after all, he hit that home run in 2011 to send the Rays to the playoffs as the wild card team, overcoming Boston, who lost to Baltimore at the same time. But they decided to trade James Shields and Wade Davis to Kansas City for 4 prospects. Mike Montgomery and Jake Odorizzi were the better prospects and all that. The other 2 were not really that great. So Wade Davis would go on to be the closer for the 2015 Royals when they won the World Series. James Shields was okay. Farnsworth was re-signed. Reed Brignac was traded to Colorado. The Rays lost B.J. Upton to free agency to Atlanta for 5 years, $75 million. And they gave Upton a 1-year, $13 million qualifying offer. That failed. Anyway, Jeff Keppinger left for the White Sox, and J.B. Howe went to the Dodgers. So the 2013 season happened. The Blue Jays sucked. This was the season after the Blue Jays made those 2 major trades with the Marlins and Mets, and were supposed to make the playoffs at least, but they failed miserably. Every team in the AL East, including those incorrigible Orioles, that's minus the Blue Jays. So the Rays won 92 games and took 2nd place in the division behind Boston. Boston was the top team in the AL that year, with Oakland and Detroit battling each other. So it meant that Oakland would face Detroit in the ALDS, and the Red Sox would take on the wildcard team. But there was one problem. There was a 3-way draw between Cleveland, Tampa, and Texas. So Tampa had to play a 1-game winner-take-all matchup in Texas. And thanks to David Price's efforts, they beat the Rangers 5-2. They were now 92-71. They went to the wild card game. Cleveland was waiting for them, and somehow Alex Cobb pitched a shutout as the Rays beat the Tribe 4-0 and moved on to the ALDS. They only won 1 game out of 4, and that was when Jose Lobaton hit that home run into the Ray tank in right center field. Other than that, they just couldn't do anything. And David Price sucked in the postseason, like natural. 2013 Rays had people like Chris Archer, Alex Cobb, Kyle Farnsworth, Jeremy Hellickson, Jake McGee, Matt Moore, Jake Odorizzi, David Price, Fernando Rodney, Jose Lobaton, and Jose Molina, your catchers. Infielders such as Shelly Duncan, Yunel Escobar, James Loney, Evan Longoria, and Ben Zobrist. The outfielders like David DeJesus, Sam Full, Desmond Jennings, Kelly Johnson, Kevin Kiermaier, Matt Joyce, Will Myers, and Sean Rodriguez and Dalvin Young. Joe Madden was the manager. So you got a lot of great players and all of that. But they just fell short. So let's go with the drama. So what you have here is the 2013 Rays taking on the 2013 Tigers. Now, in this situation, the 2013 Rays beat the Boston Red Sox and go on to face the Tigers in the ALCS. And because the Tigers have more wins, the Tigers are the home team and all that. The Tigers had to fight off Oakland in a 5-game series in the ALDS themselves. Now, of course, this what if Tampa had beaten Boston and faced Detroit? Well, moved on. So this is the first what if of, well, this is only my third one, but this is the first what if that might be multiple rounds due to the fact that when I did the 93 White Sox and the 93 Braves, which ironically were the same year, it was just random luck, they were in the World Series and all that. The 93 White Sox take on the 93 Phillies and the 93 Braves take on the 93 Blue Jays. But this time we do have multiple rounds. Now, as in the other sports and all that, we do not mess with the other league. So that means the St. Louis Cardinals are the NL champs. We are not simulating the NLCS because this is for the AL playoffs. So we're doing Tampa, Detroit. If Tampa were to take care of Detroit, then St. Louis would come next. And then we have to, of course, work on the 2013 World Series and all that. But anyway, game one, it was in Detroit. And Detroit went 8-4. Joey Peralta hit a 2 RBI double, and Omar Infante also had an RBI double. Austin Jackson went deep down the left field line in the second inning. Austin 316 says, "I just whipped your ass." Ben Zobrist hit a 2-run inside the park home run. That was weird. So because Detroit has some wide outfields. Anyway, Andy Dirks hit an RBI single to score Vila to make it 5-2. Luke Scott RBI single to make it 5-3. Andy Dirks made it 6-3 with an RBI single. Torrey Hunter went deep down the left field line in the bottom of the seventh. Al Albuquerque threw his wild pitch and everyone advances. However, the Tigers did score an RBI single by Prince Fielder, and the Rays had nothing. So Anibal Sanchez went 7 innings. Albuquerque went a third, and then they went with Drew Smiley, and he picked up the save. David Price only went 5 and a third. Joe Peralta and Jamie Wright were in there. So that was game one. Game two would see Hellickson take on Max Scherzer. Yes, Max Scherzer was a Tiger. People forget about that. Some people would. And the Rays lose 5-2. Run for Johnny Peralta, RBI single. Jose Lobaton, RBI single. Torrey Hunter hit an infield single to score Prince Fielder, 2-1. Yunel Escobar hit a Texas League single to score Kelly Johnson. However, at the bottom of the sixth, Omar Infante hit an RBI single. Victor Martinez grounded out to score Peralta. And Tampa's Peralta came in to pitch and out. Alex Avila hit an RBI single to make it 5-2. Joaquin Benoit came in for the save and got Lobaton, Escobar, and Jennings 3 up, 3 down. Scherzer with the win, 7 innings, Albuquerque, and then Benoit with a save. Hellickson only going 5 in the third. Joe Peralta and Jimmy Wright. So we swap. And it will be Verlander for game 3. And it would definitely be Chris Archer for game 3. So I'm using the 2013 rotation for the Tigers in the ALCS. So Verlander pitches game 3 and a 4-1 win as Prince Fielder went deep to right center field for a home run. And then Alex Avila crushes one to center field, gone 2-zip. Then Dirk's RBI single make it 3-0. Kelly Johnson hits in a fielder's choice to score a run, but Miguel Cabrera hits a solo tater tot to make it 4-1. Benoit comes in the pitch. Esquire walks. Jennings goes in the fielder's choice. Sobris gets a single first and third, but Longoria strikes out and James Loney grounds out. Bad luck. Chris Archer 6 innings, then Peralta right. The Tigers, Verlander went 7, then Albuquerque and Benoit. Almost the same thing. So we got ourselves a game 4, and Doug Fister pitched game 4. And it will be Matt Moore pitching game 4 for the Rays. And Tampa avoids the sweep with a win in the 11th inning, 6-5. 2 runs for the Tigers. Matt Moore on Kirk's wild pitch after Jeremy Peralta triples and scored Peralta. And then Alex Johnson hits an RBI. Austin Jackson, hits an RBI single to score Victor Martinez. But Alex Avila gets thrown out trying to make it to the plate. The Rays score a run on Lobaton's double, scoring Kelly Johnson, and then Ben Zobrist went deep to right center field, make it 3-2. It looked good. It looked good till the 8th when Miguel Cabrera and Torrey Hunter go back-to-back Apple Jacks on the Rays, 4-3. Benoit came in for the save. Zobrist strikes out. Longoria hits a ground ball single. Infante makes a terrible throw, and Loney advances. So second and third, Matt Joyce flies to right, but not far enough. They walk Luke Scott to get to Kelly Johnson, who takes a bases-loaded walk to tie the game. Putkinen came in and got Lobaton to ground out. In the top of the 10th, Fernando Rodney came in to pitch for the Rays. I know he played for the Tigers. And you got Peralta and Infante Martinez all out. The Rays had a chance. They had runners on first and second with no outs, but Ben Zobrist struck out. Longoria popped out and James Loney struck out. Alex Avila hit a home run to make it 5-4. Carl Farnsworth came in. And then Joyce walks, and then Downs came in for the save. Scott hit an RBI double. Sam Fold pinched runs. Kelly Johnson hits an infield single. And then Jose Lobaton flies to left, but Torrey Hunter cannot get him out. So that means that we get ourselves a game number 5. Back to the top of the order. And the Tigers win 6-4. So Tampa's dreams are shattered. Especially they were winning 2-0 in the third as Zobrist hit a 2 RBI single. But then the wheels fell off. Jackson hit a RBI double to score Victor Martinez in the 5th. Bases were loaded, and Torrey Hunter hit an RBI single to score Fila and Jackson. Torres came in to pitch. Peralta hits a double to score Cabrera and Hunter, and then Infante hits an RBI single to make it 6-2. The Tigers do give up 2 runs as James Loney hit a bloop single, and Matt Joyce gets a sac fly to make it 6-4. Unfortunately, though, Benoit came in to pitch. Longoria grounded out. Loney hit a double. Joyce flew out, and so does Luke Scott. So David Price couldn't do it. Alex Torres did his best. Joe Peralta. Anibal Sanchez 6th, then Albuquerque, Smiley, and Benoit. So the Tigers put the Tiger uppercut on the Rays, and no happy ending for you. No happy ending for you. Good day, sir. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.